because if we don't, nobody will. All right. So we're going to have to get into some hard stuff here. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this already. If you haven't, don't look away. I've got a thread here where I'll explain in more detail, but we need to view these things. It's no longer good enough for us to just say, no, that's bad. That's going to bring down my spirit. That's depressing. I don't want to see that. I don't want to have to think about that being a reality. No, we have to think about this being a reality because it is a reality. We are obligated to recognize these realities and not just stick our head in the sands. Last image of a wife and husband in Asheville, North Carolina, sheltering from the flood on a roof. The roof would soon collapse, causing them and their 6-year-old grandchild to drown. The daughter and mother of the child took the photograph. When the roof collapsed, she got wedged between debris and was able to be rescued an hour later. And things are way, way worse in Burnsville. These pictures need to reach people. This was tweeted out September 29. This was one of the first images that I saw for all of this. Look at how high the water is. The magnitude, the scale of this flood is impossible for me to comprehend. And I don't think it was natural. I think it's... Yes, you can get once in a millennium type of flooding like this naturally, but I don't think this was natural. I think it was amplified. The scale of this destruction is beyond comprehension. Imagine your community, imagine the neighborhoods that you live in being inundated with this amount of water. And what that would be like the sheer scale of that damage. It's effectively made these areas uninhabitable. And this is what happened to the people there. They got no warning. They got no warning that anything remotely close to this was going to happen. The people on the coast used to retreat to these neighborhoods to get away from this sort of thing. There was no warning whatsoever. Imagine yourself sitting at home. There's a big storm coming in. And you're like, all right, maybe some trees are going to go down. There's going to be wind damage. And, down by the waterways, there's going to be localized flooding. So get yourselves out of that area and hunker down and be prepared for a really bad storm. And then 15 feet of water just blew through the entire area. Absolutely wiped the surface of the earth clean. These people were not remotely ready for this. They were abandoned and betrayed by their leadership that they depended on. You could say, oh, well, joke's on them. They shouldn't have been depending on them. No, they should have. That's the fucking point. This is the responsibility of leadership. And it doesn't, the question of whether that leadership is simply incompetent or malevolent or some sort of combination of the two, that's just like a second or third order thing to figure out. The fundamental problem here is that these are people, these are like orphaned children. I think I said in the thread I'm going to read you in a little bit, they're like children whose parents sold them into slavery for the fun of it. These are our people. This is what's been done to them. I got my tabs out of order. Here we go. Here is the mother who took that picture.
I'm so proud of my son because in his last moments, he wasn't screaming for me. He was screaming, Jesus, Jesus, save me. Jesus, I hear you. Jesus, I'm calling upon you. And his wildest dreams and everything that he wanted to be was a superhero. And that was his goal in life. And instead, he's my hero because he reached for something past flesh, past human, past anything that even grown adults, I think, would reach for. My son called out to the one God Almighty. And I think at that moment he was rescued and he became my hero. And I think all of them carried me through that moment. I think that his biggest dreams, he was the smartest, bravest, hopeful, great friend. great son. I couldn't have asked for a better son. And he was so happy up until the very end when he was screaming for Jesus. And in that moment, I think he found joy.
You know, the innocence of children is actually quite spectacular. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it is. Marissa being a mother too, Megan and Heather, I do, amidst the tragedy, your parents as well, Jessica included.
Next one.
Wish that I was on a rocket top down in the Tennessee hills. Ain't no smoggy smoke on rocket top. Ain't no telephone bills. You'll always be home, sweet home to me. Talking about Tennessee. Talking about Tennessee. Talking about Tennessee. Strangers ain't come down from Rocky Top, reckon they never will.
What I want to highlight from this one, beyond all the devastation, is these are the people that we're getting this from. Some chick with a TikTok. I don't know if she's just rich and has access to her own helicopter, or is working with someone. Like, I don't care. I don't care about all the details. This is where we're getting this information from private people who are going out and doing all of this themselves. Are they doing it for the views, for the engagement, for the credibility? Sure. I don't care. There is a positive incentive structure here. The reality of social media, this is one of the ways in which social media has completely changed the landscape. Now there's an incentive for people who want the views and the monetization and the whatever, the fame and the credibility and yada, 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 to go out and do this themselves. Imagine having the government that we have right now and not having social media, not having the ability for people to go out independently, become their own news agency, and produce something like this for us so that we understand what's going on there. $10 super chat from Slosher. Thank you, man. He says, just woke up for night shift. Oren made a great observation. The endless money well didn't run out for Ukraine and Israel. It ran out for American citizens. It was a choice. These people hate you. Yes. When was the last time that you heard a government agency come out and say, we don't have the money for something? Oh, we can't afford that. Billions and billions of dollars is being funneled to corrupt oligarchs, but nothing for the American people. $750. It's a slap in the face.
This is another story from Western North Carolina. This is from an Iraq veteran who's in the area. He says this entire area is a war zone. Even if not directly destroyed by floodwaters, there are men, women, and children starving without water and sanitation, no fuel. People can't get to any distro points because they have no fuel. People are walking on foot and dragging wagons. The majority of federal and state assets are being diverted to the incorporated areas of Asheville, Black Mountain, etc., and without a deliberate effort yet into the rural unincorporated areas. This was written earlier in the week. I can confirm now that helicopter crews are working day in, day out, all day, 24/7, to evacuate people from those smaller unincorporated towns as well as get supplies into them. It goes on, people are suffering and communities are rapidly moving to isolation and self-defense and policing. Trigger warning for this next part. There are bodies floating down the rivers. There are bodies stuck in the tops of trees. Linemen entering destroyed areas are finding dozens of children as young as 3 walking through the mud near naked, crying for their parents, some with ropes still tied around their arms, attached to broken lumber, where clearly their dead parents had last ditch tied them to something. I was talking to a lineman yesterday, how he's finding heads and limbs every time debris is removed. Entire communities are gone. Just gone. Nothing to repair. And in some of the areas, just no one to even help anymore. Just bodies, with a stench increasing by the day. The death count will be in the thousands. Desperation is increasing. Local rural gas stations, markets, etc. have clear militias forming with men in hodgepodge gear and rifles patrolling. We are self-policing now. If you need help in the area or you want to help in some way, please go here. There is a ton of resources consolidated here. Please keep the comment section positive and do not share misinformation or conspiracy theories or victim blame on my post.
Now, if you notice when he shared his channel here, ex-Christian sock dem. But you know what? Right now, I don't care. I don't care about his political persuasions. He's an American. This is an American crisis that is only being navigated, resolved by actual Americans. What this whole thing has made abundantly evident to anyone paying attention is that the federal government and all of its proxy institutions are not American institutions. They are not governed by Americans. They're governed by hostile foreign interests. There are some people who were born in America. There are many people who were born in America who are occupying these roles, but they're not Americans. I don't care where they were born. I care what they're doing. And what they're doing reveals that they are not Americans. They don't have any commitment to America. They don't love America. They don't want to see America be great. It's actually the opposite. They're hostile to America. They exist for the sake of destroying America. They're traitors. This is the definition of treason. Treasonous leaders do not get to claim the identity of the people that they're abusing. There's a reason why treason has always been punished as treason has been. Amy says, what's up with the audio levels of the clips? Is that a me issue? Is the audio level low? I can pull it up I've got a bunch more clips here, so I'll pull it up if I need to. I'll wait to play this next clip until the chat catches up. Audio's fine for me. Audio on this one just a little bit, and I'll play it. This is an American.
Hey guys, I'm in Western North Carolina, and we're working on day 6, and we still have rescue choppers flying overhead. I still have, I think I've got a little bit of survivor's guilt that our town was spared. But, we need the help. The whole town was wiped out. And I'm talking about everybody who was killed. Okay, the fucking media is lying to you. And we need the help. We need it bad. We can't go help. We can't go save anybody. We've been threatened. We will get arrested. I can't imagine the people that are still up there holding on to survive. I mean, we still got electric trucks going all over the place here. Got trees down, tree on my house in the back. But it's incredible. It's incredible that we, the people, are willing to let the government tell us that we are not allowed to save our own people. It's bad. It's really fucking bad. It's worse. It's beyond any nightmare that you can fucking have. There are bodies everywhere up there floating around, buried under mud. Cemeteries most likely have flooded, which means there will probably be caskets and shit floating around. That I don't know of. But I do know that a town was wiped out completely. Everybody killed. And the only people saving them are the people that are there, saving each other. And then they're all stuck together. Fuck our government. You fucking showed your faces with this fucking disaster. And all I got to say is, fuck you.
A must watch with sound on. Didn't want to believe that FEMA had spent their entire budget on housing illegal immigrants, but it appears they have. Easily verifiable on the government site. Sad state of affairs when the actual citizens of Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, and Hawaii get the leftover scraps. This is from Bowtied Broke, sharing this video.
Wish that I was on old Rocky Top, down in the Tennessee hills. Ain't no smoky smoke on Rocky Top. Ain't no telephone bills. You'll always be home sweet home to me. Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Josh Ham says, I'm heading to Western North Carolina. There's a bunch of different people that are all headed out there. I see that Meta Prime has a group of guys that are headed out. Josh is going out there. Any of you guys that are doing this, keep us updated. Let us know what you need. I'm happy to signal boost any of this because this is the top priority here. Like there are political consequences. There need to be political consequences to this, and that conversation has to be had. It has to be worked out. Some of us can work on that. The number one priority here is rescuing people, number one, and then helping them to rebuild.